Hello, and thanks for joining us on the podcast that discusses all things gaming. Coming to you from the home of Gen Con and the gaming capital of the world, this is The Established Facts. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 51 of The Established Facts. This is your host, Big Don, and we'll just go straight into introductions, starting to my left.
Prime.
Wow.
Sorry, you caught me off guard. I'm not used to going first.
Prime one.
Okay, and then more energetically,
Yeah.
which
That's
that
strange.
person
Yeah.
would be like, I'm more energetic than that.
Prime.
Hey guys, I'm Derek.
This is Princess Katie.
Rygar, a.k.a. Jeremy.
This is Anton.
This is Josh.
And we have with us the spectacular and lovely genre actor, Jen Page.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Hey, thank you for being here with us on The Established Facts. Just so you know, we have been pretty stoked about you being on the show for several months now.
Yeah.
Just the idea of being able... We've had a couple, Monty Cook and Bob Salvatore and...
I know those people.
You do.
Tracy, we had Tracy Hickman and stuff like that. And so
Oh yeah, I will never forget that.
anytime we get an opportunity to have like an industry person on the show, we pretty much... forgive the phrasing, we pretty much geek out.
That's right. Yep.
So... Yeah.
I geek out every time someone calls me an industry professional.
Oh, yeah. There you go. So we're geeking together.
We're helping.
Thank you.
Yes, Derek. This just in.
This just in, yes. My Kickstarter for my game system is still running, and so if you head over and check it out, please consider to donate. And it'll be running for a little bit more than a month at this point. So that is the only plug, aside from Jen Page, that we are allowed to do.
Yeah, that won't happen.
Ooh,
No.
yeah.
That sounds
Man.
awesome.
You almost got away with that rule.
Who needs rules?
Trying
Right.
to establish that.
No, not gonna happen.
Not going to happen.
It's not your job.
All right,
Gaming
so
capital of the world.
that's right. That's right. I don't know. I don't really know how we get away with that.
I don't either.
Claim, but I'm gonna make it every time. I don't care what Keith Bird says.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. No.
All right. So without further ado, I would like to introduce our versus topic for episode 51, which, for those of you keeping count, is the first after our 50th episode.
Hey, Don. Don,
Yes.
why don't we give a short bio of
Oh, yeah.
Jen
Forgive
is?
me. Yes. Please.
Really? You want me to do it?
Who knows yourself better than yourself?
That's right. I would.
But
we
the
would love that.
pressure, right? Okay.
The pressure. You
like-
look more relaxed than we do.
Yeah, seriously.
I've had help. As before mentioned, I'm a genre actress by choice. I really adore sci-fi and fantasy. And someone had asked me a few years ago, "Aren't you afraid of being typecast?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me? If I am typecast, that means I'm doing something right."
There you go.
know. Things I've been in, obviously, The Gamers Darkness Rising, Gamers 3, Hands of Fate, which is coming out this year, I believe. Look at you guys.
So excited.
Gesturing wildly.
So excited.
Journey Quest, my own show, Geek Seekers, Chopsaki Boom, and a few other projects that are developing this year, as well as I'm getting into my own geeky filmmaking life as well.
Oh, are you going
Very
director
cool.
route?
No, but I certainly am writing and producing.
Ooh,
Very cool.
very cool.
Oh, yeah, it's just a matter of I'm in this genre because I want to be, because I love it, and I just want to continue going that route. And it's like I'm home. I don't need to go anywhere else. I don't need to venture into,
The
Oscar
serious
territory or something.
Oscar,
I'm where I want to be.
Office.
Yeah, robotic. What?
That is the right question to ask when I speak.
While we're on the subject, I mean, I know that we want to get into our verses and discussion topic, but
whatever.
Right. I mean, we don't make any rules on this show anyway because we just break them.
The rules are meant to be broken.
I would really like to know, as far as there seems to be a rise of media coming out for the geek, for the gamer. Geek and Sundry, Felicia Day, and Will Wheaton are huge right now on YouTube. And, with Journey Quest and, of course, The Big Bang Theory and things like that coming out, what sort of projects are you looking forward to that you can talk about, obviously? What sort of projects are you looking forward to kind of bring out to the consumer and things like that we can really look forward to?
Well, what it comes down to is I'm sure you're like me. I'm constantly hungry for sci-fi and fantasy, just good content being out there. And time again, I'll just shovel in the, wait a minute, this doesn't taste so good.
D&D movie.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Don't talk about that.
Right?
You know what I mean? It's like anytime there is something on the horizon where it's like, whether it be sci-fi or, whether it be fantasy, it's just like, yes, I want to love it. I want to love it. I want to love it. And then you go to the theater and you sit there and then you drive home and you're like telling yourself, no, I loved it. No, I loved it. And it's not quite...
It's like a really bad second date.
And I'm right there with everyone else. And not only am I there as an audience, I'm there as an actress. Just I want those roles, and I want to be creating that content. And when I go and just searching for auditions, and of course, I live in Seattle. It's a small pond. I'm not in LA. I consider myself, just a girl trying to survive in the geek world. So the opportunity that's out there isn't monumentally big. So
it's not big, but it seems like it's very loyal. Like if you can get the loyalty of the,
you can hurt us and we'll stick around.
That's right.
I understand.
That's right.
So I just kind of feel that since I'm at this point in my career where I can start making my own content and creating these things that, like, I started writing because I needed something that I wanted to be in, that I wanted to see happen. And it's just with that at heart, I just want to continue on and push that kind of great genre content out there that there's certainly room for. Because the things that we see, it's like, oh, you're killing me more. There's room for improvement, and I'm not saying I'm the answer, but I'm certainly willing to put my heart into it and make it happen.
Well, Jen, if you build it, we will geek.
Nice. Did we just get a sub fact?
Oh man, that may be the fact. I don't know.
That should be an artist.
I don't need to write that down. Are you kidding me?
Yes, we are.
Killing me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Murder of the host.
That's right. Okay. So, as far as your own personal geek gamer life is concerned, what sort of gaming or geekery do you get a chance to actually indulge in?
Oh, well, I certainly love books. I certainly love movies. I certainly love web series. I want to be adopted by the UK just because they have so much great content coming out as far as television series are. And, movies and comics and RPGs. I don't get to game as much as I want to just because it's such a time commitment. But as it is, that's where my heart is. And, I love all things geek. All things geek.
So now, if I'm correct, you used to work, or maybe still do part-time with Wizards of the Coast. Is that correct?
I worked for Wizards of the Coast, I think, for 11 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So what did you do for them while you worked for them?
In the end, for the last couple of years, I primarily designed the D&D website.
Oh, very cool.
But, yeah, for the most part, I was a web designer, and I helped with Magic and D&D, and I had helped out with their book site when it was still kind of segregated out, and all kinds of things, Axis and Allies, and every brand that Wizards had.
So many good games.
Wizards homepage, yeah. All their sites I helped out with.
Very, very cool. Very, very cool.
Very awesome.
Well, you happen to bring up, actually, the two subjects for our Versus topic. We are going to discuss the reader versus the watcher.
Oh.
And not like, not like the weird watchers from Highlander, but like...
Or the movie.
or the movie. I mean, yeah. Well...
Is this about tourism?
It's what? No, not that kind of watching.
You said the words.
That's right. That's right.
true.
The Established Facts does not condone the art of. I guess it's not really even an art. The crime of. You can make it an art. You can make it an art, I guess.
Just leave it alone, Derek. I know what just happened in your head. It's just,
Here's my mic going away from my mouth.
So what we want to talk about in our Versus topic today is.
Sorry, Jen. I'm typically the dirty one in the group,
Yeah.
so
typically,
First of all,
we gave you demerits because of
yeah.
it.
And now we're just giving you gold stars. For
yes.
how much you can actually restrain yourself. We want to talk about. We'll go around the table and ask the question: are you a movie watcher or a content watcher in this format? I guess if you watch web series or if you watch TV series based on something that was printed.
Now, is this preferential?
Yeah,
Or-
we'll go preferential. Yeah.
Okay.
Whether you enjoy reading more or watching more.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Well, I mean,
I'm with you on that.
it's not hard for me
Me
because
either.
I can't read.
Me neither. I can't even count past 5.
Right. I mean, that's why he's Prime. He
Like
only has to
brother,
count
like
to
brother.
1. All right. So we will start with Prime. So, are you a reader or a watcher?
Definitely a watcher.
Yeah, we know.
Nobody's surprised.
Derek,
I know you're going to
primarily. Let me help you out a little bit.
Reader.
Princess Katie.
Represent.
Yeah.
While I do appreciate and adore each form of media in its own separate respect, I have to go with reader on this one.
All right.
That was like the total
Ragnar?
literally.
I happen to have 2 Warhammer 40k books here, but I prefer watching.
Wrong.
Really?
Yeah.
Anton,
reading.
reading. All right. So we kind of got a split table here so
Yeah,
far.
I'm a watcher.
All right. And I'm pretty sure I know what her vote's going to be, but I'm not 100% sure. So, Jen?
This really has me torn because obviously, at my core, I'm a reader, but my media is watching.
Yeah,
so
that's
how
true.
can
That's
I not?
true.
I have to go with watching.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh. Surprised the heck out of me. Well, that's awesome. So,
And
Katie.
You are?
Yes.
And you are?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we
I'm
forgot
a
about
watcher.
Yeah, he said
I'm
that
a
earlier.
watcher.
He's illiterate.
I don't. Yeah, don't get me wrong. See Spot Run is an amazing book, but when you actually see Spot Run,
No.
can't
Polar
beat it.
Express.
that's right. Yeah,
I guess Hooked on Phonics did not work for you.
no.
After
Actually, I am a huge advocate for reading books that aren't movies or aren't web series because, like, for example, a huge fan of Bob Salvatore. Love his Drist work. There are no... I think he just released the audio book of the Icewind Dale trilogy, which has been out since the 80s. So for me, I feel like it's more genuine that I can read it and it's all in my imagination. I don't have anything to visually reference.
Right.
However, I feel like it is a lot more fun for me because I am a movie buff. I love to sit down and watch a 2-hour chunky movie that makes me want to watch the next movie. And so I enjoy being able to sit down and just pop in the Fellowship of the Rings and 3 hours later go, hi, every time. I want to keep going, and then just throw it in Two Towers, you know?
Or do it at church one Saturday.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, we do
of the
that
day
stuff all
and-
the time.
I'm very much the same with Anne McCaffrey's Pern series.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's really where I sit on the fence, but I'm definitely more of a watcher. I would prefer, you know, I would prefer to go and see all the, sorry, I just brain farted. What is the...
The Marvel?
No, with the
Hobbit?
girl and the bow and
Hunger
the Hunger
Games.
Games. Good grief.
The girl and the bow and
The
the...
girl with
I should have
the
just said
bow.
Katniss. Yeah,
Okay.
Katniss and the
Wow.
Mockingjay. Yeah, sorry. How awesome a reader I am. I can't even remember a title. But I enjoy being able to go and see the Hunger Games. And then, you know, if it's a series that I've watched and I'm like, man, that was such a good series. Darn, the DVDs aren't all out. Oh, wait. But the entire book series is. And even though, in my opinion, they're a little bit different because obviously there are things in your imagination that you can capture that you
Yeah.
can't capture on video.
Right.
It's still-
such a different media.
Right.
It really is.
Right. And go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead, Jen.
Well, the thing is, when you're reading a book, you can get inside someone's head. You can feel what they feel. And with a movie, unless you're really, really paying attention, so many directors, I don't know, it's harder. I think it's a much more of a challenge to try to invoke that kind of emotion that you can easily get.
Well, you also
reading.
have time constraints of movies. Like,
Right.
unless you're like
Exactly.
a German cinema person in like the 1970s when all their movies were
Yeah.
like at least 8 hours long, then
Yeah.
then you have to like boil it down to almost like an abridged version. Like,
Right.
That's
Like-
part of the reason I'm a reader is because you get so much more content.
And
I
I'm
mean, and I am
thinking-
a content hound. I was going to say something else, but we are a family-friendly show. I am a content hound. I want to know everything about all the things that you can tell me, which is why, you know, I love the Lord of the Rings books, and I love all the appendices, and I love all the history behind it, and I love everything that I can just, like, dive right into and have a whole nother world, you know? And I feel
I'm
like with
thinking-
movies, you can't...
I'm thinking like the Harry
Quite
Potter
evoke
series,
that.
for
Right.
me.
Very much so. Oh yes.
Because there is so much detail in her books, and then you get to the movies, it's like I just feel like I watched a watered down version, except for the last scene, the battle scene in the final movie.
Definitely.
I absolutely loved it. I was like, okay, this is a scene that has to be filmed, even if there's no other movies made.
Yep.
And
But okay, here's an element to this though, and it's we're kind of bending. No, I'm not really bending the rules here, but as a watcher, being a gamer, especially a video game player, there are certain publishers out there right now that are finally getting past this idea of constant hack and slash or puzzles, this and that, and they're bringing a script movie-like story into the game. Naughty Dog with the Uncharted
Halo
series,
4.
the Halo series, just in general.
Remember Me.
Yes, this new Remember Me thing that's coming out or whatever.
what
I'm
was
playing
it?
Max Payne by Rockstar. The idea of using
Rain, I think is what it's called.
Rain,
Heavy
yes.
Rain.
Yes,
Heavy Rain. Yeah.
this idea of cinematic gaming,
Yeah.
because the time constraint is gone. Now your constraint is purely on the media itself, the physical media. What can they get on a Blu-ray disc, or what can they get into DVDs? And it's allowing you to see those 8, 10, 12, or 40 hours of movies like Metal Gear Solid 4.
Yep.
The game itself maybe takes 8 to 10 hours to beat. Watching all of the scripted stuff is like 40 hours worth of your time.
I think we played that game once with the videos and then skipping it, and the difference was like 16 hours of difference. between
So
just-
it's
yeah.
there.
versus watching the movie.
It's just finding your different watchable media. And funny enough, for you readers, you can turn on subtitles.
Well, thanks, John.
But I'm so
I
funny.
think that, yeah.
Yeah.
Wee,
Pardon me while I stab the producer.
Oh, man.
but even though I'm a reader and being a game master, that's sort of kind of goes hand in hand. But I really, really, really want a good, I guess, Pathfinder at this point movie.
Yes.
Woo!
Yes. Oh, yes.
The made for sci-fi always seems to be the best quality for whatever reason.
Well, even though we made mention of the D&D movies or whatever, I still thoroughly enjoyed the second one, The Wrath of the Dragon God.
It's
Yes, that was a
I
good
liked that one so much more than the original.
Yeah, but the
movie.
bar was so low it was like touching the ground.
Okay,
much.
fine. Whatever that may be, but we haven't had one since The Hobbit, ironically enough, but it's all Hobbit.
Yeah, but that's based
Oh,
on a
Lord of the
book.
Rings.
I want something that is, it's taking the system of the system, and that right now. And I know that you've worked for Wizards, and I'm really sorry about
Hey,
this.
she got excited about Pathfinder, all right?
She's like, they don't sign my checks now.
Let's beat them. Pathfinder. I really want to see a good story, and the way to do it is to take the system, but understand the system, but it's a story. Do the story, and then just say, okay, well, the system's behind it.
I think the easiest way for them to produce a movie or a web series for Pathfinder, they've already got it sold out in the comic book.
Yeah.
You just convert what's in the comic book to video media. You have your episodes. You can just break it up. You've got your dialogue. I mean, you might fill in a little bit of flavor text here and there, but I mean, for the most part, that's what the.
I understand what you're saying by web series. No, I'm talking like full feature
But-
length.
Well, I mean, you
do
could
that.
do that. You could do the same thing. You could do the same thing.
We're just
but-
not script writers. Someone else is.
Yeah.
Well, personally, I think we're so disappointed in the D&D movies because our RPGs and gaming is just so inherently cinematic.
Yeah.
You know, anytime we're sitting around a game table, we see it all in our head and like we live it. And then like months later, you're like, remember that time? And yeah, it was just so epic.
Best
You
game
know,
ever.
and how do you fail at that? Come on.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely.
You know?
I mean, you can Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder, any role playing game system is built to turn whatever you can imagine into your world. You can
Right.
shape it into anything, and then it's like, okay, well, we'll just give them this. They'll like this. No, we
No,
watched
no, no.
it. We hated it.
Yeah.
How do you give a first level rogue a singing sword?
Just let's not talk about it.
I think that's
Best part of that movie when Marlon Wayans died. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Oh, speaking of bards, you had a question for her about our movie.
Oh,
yeah.
yes. So, in the movie Gamers 2: Darkness Rising, there's a scene where one of the players at the table has created a bard character and dies, and then
Repeatedly.
produces another bard character and dies several times. Actually, I'm pretty sure they released a mini
I have it.
of the pile of bards.
bards, yep.
Dead bards. How many bards was that, Jen?
I think cinematically it's captured as 50.
Okay. Oh, that's right, because he made 51 character sheets.
Yes.
That's right.
But you wanted to know how they.
How did they actually do that? Like, was it dummies or
Like the behind the
they just they had a bunch of grips just lay there?
because I was there.
That's right.
You know those giant like 8x3 fold out tables that you'll find at like a garage sale
Oh.
or
Yes.
crappy meeting or something like
Yeah,
that.
I got one in my closet.
Yeah, exactly. I think we set up one of those. We had a bunch of different people as well, but we were creatively just draped cloaks.
Oh,
and-
okay.
Oh,
Nice.
nice.
And so it wasn't like there was some poor sap.
Right.
It was kind of hollow.
Yeah.
Just movie magic.
That's
for the
cool.
most part.
That's
That's
fun.
awesome.
That's a lot of. I would have. I mean, obviously, the only experience I have being in any sort of film we did last night, actually, recording a Kickstarter video.
I was on
Which for those of you who don't understand, this podcast is often pre-recorded. So since we talked about the Kickstarter earlier, a lot of us are stars in that video. Enjoy.
That's right. It's actually the gentleman who was the director of the video. He was like, I could totally put this on IMDb and give you guys IMDb credits, and I was like, I'm in. I would love to be on IMDb, right next to Christian Bale.
Christian Bale, Donald Barter.
And Jen Page, of course. I mean, come on, people, jeez.
Yeah, it was actually very interesting because it's like you have like 1 minute on film and it takes like 4 hours to do.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
And then you have crappy audio and you have to throw it all out and do it all over again, which is exactly what happened to us.
It is because the music guy shows up and they're like, the audio sucked. We got to do it again.
Just like that, half works and all.
Yep.
Yeah.
So.
True, you gotta love film in order to keep doing it.
Yeah,
Yes, very
clearly.
much so.
It's a lot of work.
So when it comes to being able to transfer something that is in the written text, like Game of Thrones is probably the most recent big thing that has gone from printed, published work to even just an episodic style show. I mean, what sort of things are really involved in producing something as massive as that?
Gosh, are you asking me?
Well, you know,
If
you're
you
the
don't
industry
know, you can
professional.
say
Yeah,
that.
you know. I mean, you know.
You kidding
Well,
me?
the thing
We play
is-
ignorant.
You're never gonna satisfy 100% of your audience because you're translating something that was in individuals' brains.
Yeah.
And I see it all the time. I said I was a watcher, but I'm certainly a reader. But anytime, just this week, I was watching something, I'm like, you know what? If I had read this in a script, I would have loved it. But the actual execution of said script is falling flat. And it's really so incredibly tricky and complicated. You can try and have all the heart that you want, but it's really hard to cross media. It really is. It really is. So I respect anyone who tries to take any well-loved novel and change it to a film, because that alone, the cards are stacked against you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're just not going to make everyone happy, and you, like said before, there's a time constraint. So in a way, it's a flawed media because you can't dive into people's thoughts and emotions. Film can better describe a color than any book, and any visual than any book. But if you're talking about what a character is thinking at any given point, if it's not in dialogue and it's not being force-fed exposition, it's an art to try and translate anything into cinema.
You can't have Morgan Freeman narrate everything.
Oh man.
God, no!
That was intense from her.
So it's for everyone. I really am interested to find out, as far as printed media that has transferred over to movie or really, I mean, you can almost group any media that has turned into a movie. There's a lot of gaming media that has turned into movies. Passage to Dawn? Passage of Dawn?
Forward Unto Dawn.
Forward Unto Dawn, yes, that thing. Obviously, spinning off of the Halo franchise and things like that. There's a lot of... and that might be a little bit easier to do because obviously it's a visual media in gaming on a console, and they just transfer that visual media into movies. But even still, there's a lot of content that could and probably is lost. There's a lot of directions they can go, but have to obviously focus because nobody's going to watch a rambling 4-hour movie that really has no point. So as far as everyone at the table's opinion, what do you feel like has been a successful transfer from a written or gaming style work, in your opinion, to something that you got a chance to watch? Obviously, as we discussed, there's going to be aspects that you're not going to be able to capture, and in the world of internet trolling, everyone is going to tell you about it. So,
Walking Dead.
But it's
Okay.
different.
it is different.
And that's fine. But it comes from the same. It's the same feeling.
The same spirit.
Yeah, same spirit. It's all about the characters and their interactions more than the zombies themselves. So,
For me, it has to be Fallout Nuka Break. It's a web series that spawned off from. It was not an official series. It has since gotten the blessing of Bethesda, but it spawned out of basically just a single episode, and then the internet community embraced it, and now they're 3 seasons in.
wow, you went the opposite direction. Is it
It's a web series that spawned out of the Fallout 3 game.
yeah.
Cool.
But I mean,
Fallout Nuka Break.
It's happening more often actually, and I think you had a good point there that you're seeing double visual media that you're seeing a lot more of. For example, the Defiance TV series on Sci-Fi. Quite a fan of Defiance. There's a video game that is totally set in the same world, and apparently part of it is online persisted, that when certain things happen in the game, they're implementing it in the script for the next season.
Oh, that's
really cool.
So I don't know the details to that, but ultimately it's almost like the visual media is is doing things to create the written form to become visual media.
And that's with the different types of visual media, especially web series. You know what I mean? You have TV shows, one thing I can think of is Battlestar Galactica, which I know a few of us here have watched. There's a web series, Blood and Chrome, based in the Battlestar Galactica universe set years before. You know what I mean? So with the different types of visual media that we're getting, we can translate stuff from one thing to another, and it's still its own unique thing, but set in the same world. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of TV. Oh, I shouldn't say a lot of TV. I know that a couple of TV series who were canceled went to the comic realm, like Angel and Buffy.
Yeah, Buffy. Yeah.
Yes.
What was the funny thing? Oh, Bleep, my dad said, that's what they all called it.
Right.
The William Shatner show that was on CBS, totally based off this website of things,
Twitter feed or something like that.
of things Dad said. Again, the written media turned into visual that really no one would have thought of.
It's kind of entertaining to watch.
I
was.
have a good one. It's a throwback to the old days. The original Hobbit, the animated cartoon.
I've seen it.
That was excellently.
But okay, so what is it that makes us want to watch those?
The,
The animated series?
No, any of these transitions. I mean, we've
Oh
heard,
my goodness, I'm an idiot. Princess Bride.
yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even know there was a written form of
Yeah,
that.
no, I-
It was
Yep,
originally
yeah.
a book.
Oh yeah,
Different, though. It's certainly different than the book.
it is. Yes, it goes a little bit more into the politics.
That's actually a really good branch off for something that's been on my mind. Is that although there's visual media for this stuff, if you really boil down the important stuff from the books and you can portray it in a movie and do it well, it's in my opinion, it can be better many times than what the book was.
Yeah,
This is not a movie, and this is a whole nother realm of geekery, which my fellow singing fans will be a fan
goodness.
of. Wicked is
Oh, yes.
the absolutely fantastic, amazing musical, which is a visual form based off of a book, which is based off a movie, based off a book, but that's a whole other story.
wow, you just blew my mind.
Yeah,
It's a-
try not to go down
It's
the
like
rabbit
a
hole
media
here.
paradox.
It's mediaception, but no, it's
You made me first.
But I mean, that's another realm of visual
yeah,
that we
and-
hadn't gotten into. But as a former
That is
show
an
choir kid, I
excellent-
appreciate.
That is Les Mis.
Yes,
And
Evil Dead the musical.
yeah, although I liked, with Les Mis and with Wicked, I actually like the musicals better than the books. Wicked
I
just
totally
goes so
agree with that.
rambling in the book, and but it was really condensed. That they added some elements, and cleaned it up a
So
lot.
that's what made me think of it, was saying how different Princess Bride the movie is from the book. Wicked the musical is so much different from the book,
Yeah.
but in a fantastic way.
Yes,
I'm
totally.
not a big fan of Les Mis. It's alright, but
I think we are going to have our first podcast kill today.
Today.
It's all right. I've heard that from other people as well, but that's not a conversation worth really having right now because that'd be scary. Anyway, because there's a lot of people. At least I know I enjoyed the movie, and you should be shunned for not. But you know,
He didn't say he didn't enjoy it.
Shun the
I just didn't think it was
non-believer.
that great. Russell Crowe is not no mas.
Well, Russell Crowe was not a great singer, but he did well in the part. And if he is the weakest link of that entire thing,
He is.
then that is a fantastic movie.
Wow.
true.
is.
When Russell Crowe becomes a weak link, that's got to tell you something about everyone else.
Oh, I didn't say his acting was bad. I just said his singing was horrible.
Oh, well, okay.
It is
Okay.
a musical.
All right.
but-
Technically an opera.
So Jen,
True.
you're obviously involved in visual media mostly now, but you're also working on written media for visual media.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean that's what you're saying. Why have you decided then to go more towards the writing form? Other than you did make mention you want to see things that you could be in.
Oh, sure. Just content, getting that content out there, and it's not like I feel like I'm the chosen one for that. It's just,
Nice
just
Buffy reference.
following my heart with, what movie would I want to see? What movie would I kill as a geeky actress to be in? And those are things I can certainly answer for myself, and it doesn't mean that anyone else would ever want to see it. But given the opportunity, yeah, I wanna try and get that down. And yeah, and I've said before that I see things fail on film that just having read so many scripts, it's like, wow, I see why this worked in script form, and I see why it's not working here. And it's just incredibly challenging to make that transition.
Now,
That,
would you want to be in a big budget film, or do you want to keep more with the indie?
As long as when people say big budget, you think, oh, it has no soul anymore. It sold its soul, and all creative
become
hands
Michael Bay
tried.
explosions.
Wow.
My explosions
Screen
have
transition.
explosions.
Yeah,
Screen transition every 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I
Sorry
don't.
about that.
I don't see that as any kind of measure of success. The fact that I have any opportunity at all is what I'm grateful for, and certainly being able to be paid for your time is a nice opportunity to enjoy. But it's not like, wow, I finally made it because I'm in this giant production. It's, wow, all the time. I'm constantly thrilled to be doing the things that I'm able to do. So I'm happy with where I'm at, and I'm happy with the opportunity I can see myself cultivating. And I think that's what anyone could ever wish for in anything that they're interested in pursuing. It's not like anyone could say, oh, wow, I make 6 figures doing what I love to do. Yeah, anyone would say that was awesome, but that's not why we do it,
Wow.
Yeah. So, in speaking of 6 figures, now I'm curious if we're favorable towards the written or reading form. Are we also favorable financially in said scenario?
I was actually going to bring up kind of a question that wraps itself around that subject.
Okay.
In the current day, Kickstarter has become a huge phenomenon for game developing, for book publishing, for movie writing. Veronica Mars.
Music.
Is that what it was?
The Veronica
yeah.
Mars
Music,
movie.
yeah, you're
Veronica
right.
Mars movie being fully funded in like 5 seconds. Monty Cook.
Who? No.
The worst thing is her involvement with him. It's
Yeah. that guy.
Yeah, right.
That guy. It's just like, yeah, whatever. Money who? But yeah, I mean, Kickstarter is a huge and successful phenomenon at that. But as far as publishing or producing something of written or filmed media, how do you guys feel about the use of, I guess, what's it considered, social funding or like
Crowdsourcing.
Crowdsourcing, exactly. Like being able to rely on the people who are your potential fan base or who have read the books and now you're wanting to produce a movie of it to say, you know what, I care about this movie enough to actually try and fund it. I mean, how do you guys, how does everybody feel about that kind of stuff?
Okay. My thoughts on Kickstarter are, I love the idea of Kickstarter. I think it can show you, okay, this project is going to reach out to a certain number of people. It's going to allow people who have maybe lost their IP, regain their IP, and create new content. And it allows people who are not in the industry, quote unquote, who are not independently wealthy, produce stuff that people have not seen before. With that said, I have an issue with large companies using Kickstarter as a funding source.
For what it's worth, Kickstarter does as well.
Like Reaper Minis. I mean, Reaper, I think, may be on the line there, but I have an issue with like companies like Reaper, or if like Wizards did something like that, or if Paizo does. Like, you know what? I know I'm going to be kicking myself for this, but I'm going to say I do not agree with Paizo. I supported their Kickstarter, but they're a big enough company that...
Wait, do you mean Goblin Works?
No, not Goblin Works.
Because Paizo has not had a Kickstarter.
I thought they had one for...
Paizo backed
MMO?
Goblin Works.
Yeah, the
That's
MMO was
different.
designed by
Okay.
Goblin Works.
Goblin Works was its own company starting up altogether. Paizo gave them office space.
Yeah.
Okay. But if Paizo had done a Kickstarter, I would have an issue with
Okay.
it. So it's I think that Kickstarter needs to be set aside for the new
People who have no other means.
Exactly.
Like the Veronica Mars thing, what bothered me was the news article headline, Veronica Mars just transformed indie film. And it's like, no, Veronica Mars didn't do that. The fans did that years ago.
Yes.
And Veronica Mars is plugging into it. And for the most part, it's said that these companies, these larger companies, should be able to have their funding already. Why are they tapping into Kickstarter and taking money away from independent film or other independent projects to begin with? Mm-hmm. And there's the people that argue that, well, if they make this big splash, more people will be aware of Kickstarter and how these programs work. And
That's
I
not
don't know.
really the case because
It's
like
it's kind of a catch-22. I mean, you've either got smaller independent, what I guess quote unquote independent sources using Kickstarter.
I know it's tough with the terminology.
Right. I mean, smaller independent corporations or people who want to produce these things that haven't been produced, that they've been working on. I mean, Derek is getting he's in the middle of his Kickstarter. And he's been working on the system for 2 years.
Yeah.
But there are people that have been working on their games or their media or their books for 10 years and have never had that funding. Whereas you have, I'm a big fan of Slugfest games. They've produced the Red Dragon Inn 1, 2, and 3 and On Guard and a bunch of other really fun card games and board games. They have a Kickstarter for Red Dragon Inn 4.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But and I believe when this episode airs, it's probably going to be close. I think it was like the 27th of June or like the very end of June, so it may be over by now, but I'm not 100% sure. Definitely check it out if you haven't. But in the same respect, I feel like that's almost like that borderline. Like you've already produced 3 very successful board games and a bunch of other supplemental games that are based off of that, and
I think that they already have the momentum, having several popular products out there.
Right.
And I think at that point you're like, okay, I hate to say that they've made it, but I mean,
Right.
it's like, okay, now your products should be funding
Self-sustaining.
themselves. Yeah.
Well,
Right.
but in stating that, there is a point. The reason why the crowdsourcing is there is to also get fan input. What is it we're
Right.
wanting to do?
That's true. That's absolutely
So
true.
we're thinking to making
you
a Red
don't-
Dragon N4,
Right.
But we
If you
don't. We
don't
can't
want it-
convince everybody.
Use their forums.
But you still
Right.
they're not going to listen to forum people. People log into forums and so forth.
Oh, that is so
All
nice.
the trolls, every troll.
Every
Hold on.
troll.
Forums can be faked. Forums can be bad users, fake users, whatever. Kickstarter, you get charged. The reality is they get the money. That's all the proof they need.
UFS uses
Right.
their forums as a means to develop their product.
UFS is is rare.
Okay.
Paizo responds in forums. Yes, they come up with ideas in forums.
Yes, that's
yes,
another good example.
because Paizo just got to the point where they can do such a thing. They blew
This is
up over
going
the
to
last
be a
few years.
discussion topic for a later podcast. Thank you very much.
Right. Watching versus reading.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah, we got way off with that. But
Sorry.
back to
Welcome to our
this
podcast.
is great. I was gonna say with the benefits to the crowdsourcing, I actually pulled it up on my phone. Indiegogo, the website.
That's the other one, yeah.
Yeah, for how much you donate, you get different perks. Like that's
Yeah.
I pulled
Yeah.
up. There's the
Kickstarter's
web.
Kickstarter's the same way.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that.
Yeah.
That's another plus to doing that is that it's not just your
You
input.
may get
it's-
exclusive content. Or
yeah,
something
that's
like that,
like
yeah.
this web series that I've been following called Chronicles of Syntax, which is a really cool, like sci-fi future thing. I don't know if you've heard of it, Jen, but it's pretty awesome. It's by this British chick, and it's really cool. It's something worth looking into. But
Cool.
just that kind of stuff, just giving the people who are donating the money the opportunity to get something back from it is I think really cool. Tony.
I was going to say
Definitely.
there are some other similar sites that like you were mentioning before about Red Dragon Inn. They were kind of wanting to almost get a feel for the community if they're still wanting them to produce more games, that kind of stuff. There are other sites like Kickstarter. I won't mention them because of some of the nature of the content that's on them, but they do a voting system beforehand. So they basically go, okay, you're looking to shoot for this kind of money. So we're going to require you to have so many votes before you're allowed to accept funding. And basically people vote to saying yes, they would back this project. And that way you can get that feel before you actually start receiving funds.
Rhaegar?
So I actually have a decent segue to get us back onto movies.
What?
What?
Segway. What's it?
So with the Kickstarter stuff,
It's kind of like a scooter, only you don't scoot.
Right? You lead.
Someone's got
We,
a guy.
one of the things about the movie industry with big named movies is you get into things like Hollywood accounting, and that's something that these Kickstarters have the opportunity to help the actors and help the producers of this media to get around all of those avenues, headaches, and legal issues associated with that. But Jen, I'm not sure. Have you ever ran into a situation where you guys had to deal with Hollywood accounting? Or are you still outside of that?
Oh, completely outside of that. Just projects that I'm involved with, I might not be, a lot of things that I'm involved with as an actor. I'm not really involved behind the camera with the business side of things. I don't really particularly love business. But, the joy of independent film is that you create a project, you want to see it happen, and you maintain control of it while you make it happen. And I think that's what everyone detests about big budget Hollywood is they think that once giant money gets involved, the giant money source gets to say what that content is because they're afraid of not making their money back.
Yep.
So, Kickstarter is this awesome thing. If the Veronica Mars movie needs to happen because of Kickstarter, because no Hollywood studio would have backed it because they thought they wouldn't make their money back, but they could easily make millions off of Kickstarter because they have a fan base, more power to it. You know, because we're talking about lots and lots of people putting $20 in to say, yeah, I want to see this happen. And that's not Hollywood taking money away from people. It's projects getting made. And I think that's really great, no matter what the scale is. It scales up, it scales down. Some people just need $3,000. Some people need $3 million. But if people believe that they want to see it made and they believe in the project, whether it be a game or a book or a comic, it's really great that we have this type of system where people can necessarily vote and say, yeah, take $20, take $50, take $100. You know, it's really great.
There's an argument that has been made about like actors that like big name actors that have said, I want to make X movie, and I need to find funding for it, and everybody's like, oh well, why can't you just fund it yourself? You make millions of dollars.
Right.
Yeah, and you know that's one of the things I loved about going to Dragon Con about, because you get disabused of that notion, because like all these things like Warehouse 13, all these TV shows that are pretty popular, even like Big Bang Theory or stuff like that, although I don't know what their scale is at this point, but most actors, I'd say 95 at least % of actors do not get like hundreds of millions of dollars per episode or anything like that.
Exactly.
Like, maybe
like that money, the money goes into the project. The money doesn't go into paying rent or eating. The money goes into the project. And any film project that's on Kickstarter as an indie film, it goes into the film budget. It doesn't go into necessarily paying everyone's salary so that they can pay their rent.
Yeah, well, and I was actually also talking about just like big television, like network television, because people think that an actor will make like $100,000 an episode or something like that, because you hear that about the few actors that are like big names, and most actors don't. They fly coach, they get like maybe $1,000 or something like that.
Right.
So I just wanted to mention that, just because I know that has come up.
One question / something I wanted to also bring up was, we're talking about self-funding movies and self-funding content and things like that. On our last episode, we were kind of plugging things in the gaming world and kind of the surrounding genres that we're really looking forward to. And one of the things
we had everybody plug something.
Yeah.
Here.
One thing that I brought up was something I'm looking forward to in September. Is the self-financed Vin Diesel project of the new Riddick movie, and I am super excited about that. But that was a brand that Universal owned. I'm pretty sure it was Universal. Universal owned, and after Chronicles of Riddick came out, and they got less money than what they expected, they killed it. Yeah. And Vin Diesel and several of the production and directing people that he had worked with, they pooled their resources together, and they snatched up that branding, and they say, you know what, this is a series that we feel like, even if it doesn't necessarily make your scale of money, this is a story that we want to tell. And this is something that we want to work on, that we are really passionate about. And especially with, we've talked a lot about web series and one thing we haven't really talked about is recently, especially with the inception of like Geek and Sundry and several of the other smaller production companies that are on YouTube, YouTube opened it up and basically said, hey, we have so much money allotted that we want to give to people to produce unique content and on a regular basis. And Geek and Sundry was one of these production companies that kind of swooped in, and I mean, to be completely honest, has been a blessing to all of us, because I love the Guild, and I love a lot of the stuff that they bring out. Tabletop. I was actually going to ask Jen when she was going to be on Tabletop. But there's all of these, what would seem like, YouTube is not a small company, but when it comes to supporting the people that consume as well as produce, how do you guys feel about something like Geek and Sundry coming around? I know my opinion is I love everything that they produce. But, like Vin Diesel and producing his own brand of the stuff that he really loves. And, Jen, I know that you're in the middle of doing the same thing.
YouTube solved the distribution problem.
Right.
Because, like, with your movies, you came out direct to DVD. Because it's probably safe to say you couldn't distribute it nationwide into like all these theaters. YouTube solved that issue because, especially now that our internet is getting slightly better in this country, we can now stream content, and so now we no longer have to have movies in the theater or have them like physically come to us. Now we can actually stream
and
them.
Vimeo's doing it as well. It's the other company they're actually doing. I think it's rental based stuff. Like
Project London is a perfect example of that. Right. We filmed Project London. Principal photography finished in 2007. And this was before YouTube and social media really took off. And we spent so much time in post-production with CGI work that by the time we were ready to release this film, Kickstarter was here, Facebook was here.
Of course.
Thankfully, we had been cultivating our audience and talking about it online, so it wasn't a surprise to anyone. But we have a Vimeo channel now where you can rent it you can see it on demand for $3.99. And that's just this amazing thing that we couldn't have even fathomed that when we were filming. And it's just so great to see it. Yeah,
How long was it on post-production?
What do you mean?
How long was it on post-production?
Since 2007. We just finished it.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
There's over 770 special effects. And
that's crazy.
It's incredibly crazy.
Well, think about last night. I mean, and then creating special effects. I mean,
That's a special effect. Yeah.
But
it was special and it was definitely effective.
it was definitely special.
I think I was a special effect in that.
we'll see.
Social
How
media
effective it is.
has replaced the need for big budget advertising and getting the word out there.
Yeah.
You can virally spread the word to anyone who has the same interests. And we all know how it works. And it's just a virus. It just really is. And it's fantastic.
A virus in a good way.
Yes.
Viral video.
So let's see. That's the financial aspect through these Kickstarter outfits.
You got the distribution through YouTube and Vimeo.
branding.
And then, geez, that's pretty much... The special effects thing, though, I mean, like... What was it, 6 years?
6 years.
Yeah.
What was the software you said you used? I know not everybody would know or knowledge it, but I couldn't remember all the information
Blender.
about it. Blender.
Yeah, it was
yeah.
Blender.
It was Blender. The writer and director is actually quite the Blender head to begin with. And I think that's how he conceptualized the movie in the first place. And since he's well known in the Blender community, he cultivated on his own this whole network of people working on the film, people coming in, coming out, working for a certain length of time, working for a short length of time. And it just really became this global community working and making this film work, let alone funding it. It was just people making it actually happen. And it's just fantastic.
And then with regards to filming, I know there's a what is it, a Red Eye, a $10,000 camera or something. That's
The Red, yeah.
Oh, the Red.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Well,
That's a tough part, though, the equipment.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
but the interesting thing is you're also seeing people find very inventive ways to use new pieces of technology to get things done. I've seen music videos filmed with a Galaxy S3. I've seen,
Yeah.
heck, Wooten was in
There's
here
films
with
that have been done completely on an iPhone.
Right,
You
yes. Wooten was in here with a GoPro, a
Yeah, the guy that we
$400
recorded
camera.
with, he had a GoPro.
I think it was Beck composed an entire album with, what was it, iGuitar or something? The little iPad.
Garage
Oh, wow.
Band.
GarageBand? Oh,
thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah, Poe did that as well. The artist Poe. She completely mixed and produced her own album.
That's crazy.
Right?
That's so awesome.
Isn't that
It's
interesting?
I mean, it's cool. Like, it's just...
And that was God, that was like 2003. I mean,
That's old news.
What was it?
Oh,
The movie Avatar. I think they spent 8 years in post
Holy
on
cow.
that for the CG for that movie, and it was
They
it was
were
like
revolutionizing what
Yeah.
movie making.
They're making a
was.
second
Oh
one.
yeah, they had also. I think
They're
that was
making
one
a
of the
second and a
first
third.
films that they
Oh my
started
gosh.
using the Blu-ray high def cameras and stuff like that on. Or
Well, no, it was.
It was all that motion capture stuff that they did, like all
Yeah.
the,
And
Oh,
the
okay.
3D stuff.
yeah, like
Okay.
it was.
Speaking of motion capture, with us being gamers and so forth, the Kinect is apparently being developed as a motion capture device, which is kind of
Really?
yeah, it is. So people are writing software, especially and with this. I know we haven't gotten too deep into next gen, but with the new Kinect, because the new Kinect is going to track more pieces of the body.
Yeah.
they're going to use it
and you can
even
stand
more.
Up, you can stand up to 2 feet away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So they're going to use more and more of that technology to accomplish the same type of thing, and then you're going to see independent films, independent developers.
Oh yeah, just through your Kinect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the new one's going to have a 720p camera on it, so it's
Something,
no 1080. Sorry, 720s
Yeah.
on the PS4.
something really neat. I was going through some research and saw that somebody's looking into doing Wi-Fi signals with motion capture and gesturing.
Oh wow.
What's the and forgive me for this because I'm not a Sony fan. So the PS3, what is the new the camera bit from then? Because somebody did.
The
You
eye.
mean on the current
I said-
one?
yeah, they did an entire like movie.
PlayStation Move and the PSI.
Yeah, and they debuted that not too long ago with the new, I forget what it was, like
'Cause you-
Clonic Dream or something like that. But it was incredibly neat to watch. They did all that with the
You can think
PS3.
because you can attach the PlayStation Move controllers to people, and because they light up like that, and they
They're
can track. I
motion
think
capture
like
balls.
4 or 8 of them at a time. The PlayStation 3 alone can. You take that PlayStation Eye and the same software, you could use the PlayStation Move as motion capture dots.
Yeah, the
my
video they
goodness.
made with it was just ridiculously awesome. And I was like, you did that with the PS3? Like,
Yeah.
blew my mind.
So people are able to make pretty high quality stuff in their home now
Yeah.
too.
technology's getting there.
That's scary.
No, I think that's great.
It's great, but
I
scary.
know. I know
they're,
the movie Black Swan. They did a lot of primary photography with
in
a-
someone's garage.
Yeah, and with with a Canon 7D.
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't watch that movie
Yeah.
in the same weekend as Inception.
Oh my gosh! You want to talk about your mind just being blown?
And with like emerging technology, the DSLR really has kind of changed how films are, like especially independent films are made nowadays. But there are actually a lot of independent groups now producing image stabilizing mounts that are extremely low budget. Because like if you look in major movie production, some of those image stabilizers are hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars.
Are you talking about what
Like
is
a
it called?
Steadicam?
Yes,
Steadicam.
it's like
thank you.
a Steadicam, but they're actually producing these things a lot smaller. There was one that came out that I saw the other day. I cannot remember the name of it. The guy makes it a gyrocopter.
Oh wow!
And it has a DSLR mounted to the bottom of a gyrocopter, and you cannot tell it is being flown from a gyrocopter. The entire film is completely steady.
The GoPro would be perfect for that.
But GoPro would be perfect for that. But the problem,
Well, the thing is, if you have enough of a high definition camera that you can punch into any given point in your frame, it doesn't matter if it's steady or not. You can make it steady.
yep,
Yeah.
this is true.
It's kind of crazy.
Wow.
I mean, there's so many pixels there that you can fudge a lot of those pixels to make it steady.
Especially when you're talking about
Trust me,
like a
I know.
DSLR that's
Those
got
high
18
definition
meg.
cameras, I'm like, you can see through time through my pores. I hate it. Look at that definition. No.
Run away! Oh
Yeah, and they're making ultra HD TVs
yeah.
now.
So
Okay.
in regards to that specific comment, Jen, I was watching the first X-Men movie the other day, and
Nice.
on a high definition TV on Blu-ray, you can totally see the prosthetic sideburns that Wolverine is wearing. I was like, oh, that killed it for me.
I really kind of hate that about high def TV. I don't want to watch Ghostbusters and make it feel
No.
like it's video.
Right.
But I think if you adjust your settings well enough on the HD TVs. It can still maintain that gauzy blur.
Right.
Of,
Oh yeah.
Now
Well,
we're getting
just
into
that-
analog versus digital.
Well, I
we
mean,
did that once.
Yes, we did. But that was for dice.
True. That's true.
I forget whether it was Joss Whedon or Chris Carter said that his best friend for, I think it was either X-Files or Buffy, were shadows at the very start of their TV series, because they could fudge a lot because of the technology, the lower technology that they had.
Well, and I think that's something that Jen touched on when we were kind of goofing around asking her about the Bard question, but a lot of the Hollywood magic that you see, it's just simple little tricks and things that you learn just playing with perception.
But-
Forced perspective.
perspective.
Yeah, things like that.
Especially with low budget, you have to get creative.
Yeah.
You have to get creative.
Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, the first movie. You've got
That was filmed all in a shopping mall.
You've got Gandalf, Ian McKellen standing closer to the camera so that prospectively he looks larger than Bilbo Baggins. But really,
Right.
I mean, they're obviously not
Something
that
came up
different in
like
size.
in the 50s, right?
Right,
Or-
right. Chocolate sauce is blood. I mean, really, come on.
There's a magazine, I think it's still out, that only talks about visual effects, and it goes through all the big budget movies and shows how they were made, and they actually go do flashbacks back to like Star Wars and that sort of thing. I had a subscription to it for years, and I just forgot what it was called. But it goes through all that stuff, all those tricks that you use with practical effects and all that. So
That's all movies are, anyways. It's just a cheap trick to make us give them their money.
it's all
Like a
smoke and
table
mirrors.
with bards.
Oh yeah. Have you guys ever watched the behind the scenes of making of the Terminator? Like they totally had to guerrilla film the scene where Terminator's punching the car window in. That was totally without a permit. And at the end, when the Terminator's being crushed in the press, there's to make the smoke, they actually had someone sitting there with a cigarette. I mean,
That's awesome.
you and it was it.
Star Wars used tons of models.
It's like
Yeah.
the movie Event Horizon. The actual ship for the Event Horizon was a 27-foot long model.
Yeah.
Wow.
I want one.
The beaming effect on Star Trek, they used glitter and water. Not kidding.
Not
Glitter
surprised.
and water. And it was all done in a shopping mall.
The same shopping mall as Fellowship of the
That's right. That's why they all did. They did it all in New Zealand, obviously.
Zealand,
it
yeah.
had to be in New Zealand.
This podcast was recorded in a shopping mall.
That's right. That's right. Oh, goodness.
The same shopping mall that they filmed the Blues Brothers.
That would explain the destructive nature.
Yeah, right. I'm on a mission from Gad. So yeah, with that all being said,
Weird topic.
I think we've pretty much
Killed the topic.
what topic? I think we started here and ended.
We just had a great movie and sort of writing discussion with Jen Page.
Absolutely.
What was it again? The genre actor?
Genre actor. If you can spell. If you can't spell, it's G.
Genre.
Genre actor.
Or is it genre?
No.
Nice. I see what you did there.
Can you spell it?
Nope. All right. Goodness gracious. Falling apart at the seams.
Already there.
Oh. So yeah. Now to my favorite part of the show. Jen,
Yes.
what would you like to plug on the established facts that you have coming out? Now, obviously, we are recording way previous to when we are releasing. However,
live.
no, never.
No.
Why would we do that? We edit
Remember?
so much out of these episodes. We would never want to do it live
We want to make sure that we're not going to have a wardrobe misfunction.
or malfunction, misfunction, malfunction. It doesn't matter. Yeah. So upcoming things that you've got coming around the bend.
July 6th.
Yeah, from July 6th. Or things that have released that you want us to check it out.
Well, obviously, you guys can check out the upcoming episodes of Geek Seekers that we're finishing up. I'm slotted to film more Chopsaki Boom this year. Gamers 3 is coming out, as well as there's by this time when people are listening, there will be a Gen Con web series that is coming out as well. So, and anyone who's interested in following me with those things, I talk quite frequently on my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/thegenpage.
Very cool.
See, it's always better when you stick a "the" in the front of it.
Oh, yeah.
The
Established facts.
Unless it's
The Gen
Facebook.
page.
I was saying, yeah, you don't not the Facebook. That's not as cool.
Oh no, it's not as cool.
Or
Because Justin Timberlake didn't tell
That's
you.
right. So Jen, you mentioned
the Gen
Gen
Con web
Con.
series.
Yeah.
You remember we're in Indianapolis, so
I know.
so
right?
I am a yes.
We'll film it.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
I have it in
Yeah,
recorded
I don't
form
think I
now.
have anything to say about Gen Con now. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what I was wanting to know. But you will be there.
I will be there.
What are you going to be promoting at Gen Con? Other than obviously you're going to be filming your Gen Con web series stuff.
Right. Peter Atchison, obviously, who is a co-owner with Gen Con. I'll be at his... He has a media company called Hostile Work Environment, and I will be at their booth. And he's actually the media company behind the Gen Con web series that kind of has a fictional farce pictorial on what it takes to run a giant gaming convention. That's what our web series is.
And their secret plot to create a time machine.
You completely shh. Be quiet.
Sorry, did I spoil something?
I don't think so. I think they're actually working on it.
Oh,
It's blue and it has windows.
that's right.
Oh my god.
No, it has to be red, and the windows have to be broken. That'd be copyright infringement.
And say fire.
And fire, yes, it's a firebox.
Anyhow,
Right.
Don't go in
Yeah.
there.
we digress.
So yeah, I'll be
lot.
at Gen Con this year primarily doing that, as well as the Gamers 3 premiere, as far as I know
Yes.
is happening.
Yes, yes, it is.
Okay, well I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, it depends on
And
the
there's
night.
also, we have a Geek Seekers panel, screening and Q&A that me and Monty and our director Max is going to be there for.
When is that?
It's on Saturday.
Oh.
Saturday, I think at 11.
In the
But,
day? Like
Right.
in the morning? 11 in the morning?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you said 11, and there's... We
And,
have two
Chop-
11s in Indiana, that's all.
Right. Chopsaki Boom and Project London also have screenings or are in the Gen Con Film Festival.
Yeah, because a lot
Very
of stuff.
cool.
Wooten and Genu is in the Gen Con Film Festival.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, one of our the person who filmed our video yesterday for Derek's Kickstarter.
He's got a movie.
I think I can't remember what title he has, but he was a part of a local film that is going to be part of that.
And Genu was the name of it. So
I can never say that name. I
least I
can
think
never
that's what
pronounce
it is.
it.
whatever. So yeah, big time on the Gen Con Film Festival, and Jen Page will be represented well.
Yes, you
Woo
will.
woo.
By myself.
That's right.
Dun, dun,
Fine.
That's our only
And
representation.
we are going to be.
We'll be there, rocking out.
That's right.
We'll be talking with her and probably.
Though-
Hanging out for sure.
Yeah.
Hello, beer garden.
right.
Holla!
Yeah.
Now you'll have to remember, because you're in Seattle, so you're going to have to jump forward about 3 hours.
Yeah,
She's
but
been here
midnight to
before.
you is what for me?
9?
I have the home field advantage.
Well, no. I'm just saying, in Indiana, you have to stop drinking by 3.
No, it's not true.
which is midnight. Well, that's true. I guess you could buy stuff and take
I'm not a gremlin.
So back to the established facts. Obviously, unfortunately, we lost Jen for a second there, so we had to connect back, and we are back with our friend Jen. We were just discussing, the fact that the only thing I was saying was
don't throw water on her at midnight.
Right, because she'll multiply. Well, technically, she would multiply.
Guess it would be a bonus.
Which
oh god,
we could get we could get an evil, spiky-haired Jen.
They would all be evil, though. Yeah, if she produced, they'd all be evil. There's
not evil.
Does that make her Gizmo?
Yeah.
Yes, that makes her Gizmo.
Obviously.
Okay.
So no, I was just relating to the fact that you guys are like 3 hours behind us, so your midnight is our 3 o'clock. However, obviously, if you
That works for me.
there you go.
I like those numbers.
There you go.
Don, you just completely tripped over yourself.
No, I'm
he-
still
he
here.
just
I'm actually
explained it.
sitting, so therefore I can't trip over myself.
He was just explaining time
Never
zones.
say never.
I'm just Pacific versus Eastern.
It's 6 p.m. somewhere.
That's 5.
It's 5 o'clock.
But I think that's an Alan Jackson line, so we might not be able to use it.
Who?
All right, let's move
Exactly. So anyhow,
Wow.
so obviously, Jen, you said you will be at Gen Con. You've got a lot of really cool stuff going on.
Yes.
Her schedule might be
We
busier than
obviously
ours.
will be at Gen Con this year.
Of course.
I think we are going to attempt. Last year we did some really fun video interviews, half of which actually got released.
Hey, I still have the other half.
I know
just-
you do.
I have a
Bonus
full-time
material.
job, and I'm a producer of some podcast. I haven't had time.
You need to just ditch those guys and put out our videos. So hopefully we will definitely be able to touch base and at least hang out for a little bit.
Yes.
Maybe we'll actually get a chance to do some fun video interview stuff. If not, it's all right. But Derek, I believe you plugged your Kickstarter in the very beginning of the episode. Jen, outside of what you've discussed already, is there anything else that you would like our listeners to look forward to?
Gosh, because that wasn't enough.
Well,
I mean,
we are plug whores, so
Really?
No,
You're
I
gonna
think
go-
that-
I avoided saying it earlier. Really, you ruined
it's
it.
okay, it's PG.
Did you just
PG.
justify that to me?
Yes, yes, I did.
I would like to go on record right now saying that it was not me.
It was not you.
It was not you.
Congrats.
Thank you.
You get a sticker.
I do. I get a gold star.
Good grief.
Jen's gonna send us a gold star
Yeah.
email.
Yeah. And a do not reply notice. Please don't ever call me again. Razy Hoosier Freaks. So yeah.
Flip table.
Yeah, right. On our last episode, we established rules. What rules? We don't need no stinking rules. And on this episode of The Established Facts, our new established fact is, if you write it, it shall come. Through Kickstarter. Maybe. Jen, thank you.
those odds.
Yeah, there you go. Jen, thank you so much for being on The Established Facts. We hope that that you come back. You are more than welcome anytime you would like to visit us from Seattle, or if you want to hang out with us in Indy while you're here for Gen Con, we would definitely love that.
Well, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. For everybody else, thanks for listening.
All right.
See you guys.
Cheers.
Please visit us at www.theestablishedfacts.com and our Facebook page, facebook.com/theestablishedfacts. If you would like to support us by buying some merchandise, visit cafepress.com/castingrobot.
Bonus